So now we get to kind of get into the fun of eoTouch, the walkarounds. To create one, we choose Edit Lists and Locations. Customer for first time setup of a walkaround, which is kind of our new look at shelf sequence and build twos and stuff. So, Edit Lists and Locations. This customer, I already have a couple locations, but I can add another. I choose it, add a list or add a location. I'm choosing create a location here. I have a location type I can choose from. The available locations are set up on the back end by the administrator or anyone with the access to it. So I'm choosing an end cap 2 placement. I can say where it's placed, especially helpful for an end cap. I can say that it's at aisle 7, just kind of a note. Products, I can pick what type of products is in here. Is it beer, is it wine, is it non-alcoholic, or is everything? I'm going to leave it as as all items. You can also categorize. Categorize gives you an option to choose if you want it displayed in certain ways. That way, rather than all the products being listed straight, you could have it grouped by the brand or by the country. That can be helpful with wine, or by the package if you're walking through and you're doing the cases first and then you're going to go back and do the loose bottles and stuff. It's also very helpful for first time setup. I know some users won't necessarily want to create the walkaround if they're not familiar with it. The last option is add purchased items. If you leave this on, it will populate your walkaround for you with the purchase history at the store. So by leaving it on, we've just set it up. I go back. We have end cap number 2 on aisle 7. You guys see it at the bottom of the list. Now if I click on it, I still have the options to edit here. You can see a list of all the products from purchase history. There's a column to set par, and you can set the levels of what can fit at each spot. So I can quickly go through here and just set up some pars. This can help with you restocking, counting levels. You can also see that on the left where it says H case, this is referencing what type of package it is. If I pull it over like I did the surveys, I have the option of changing. I can say, actually this isn't a case. This is just the individual packages of the Dasani drops. And so I can change that if I'd like. Changing it here will set what your walk-around layer is expecting you to count in. Even though I added everything on the purchase history, I can click edit and the gravity point appears again. I can click on the green plus and I can add any items that I also want listed here that maybe weren't in the purchase history but I want on my list. Now I can explain the gravity point a little bit better. If you see what I just added appeared directly above the gravity point, the idea is to, by doing those check marks, I'm just getting everything on this list. You can drag the gravity point to anywhere you would like. Gravity point's a quick way of sorting. I flicked it on and it changes the display. It says on and gravity point is on. Now by just tapping on any name, something will jump right up to the top of the gravity point. So if I wanted this gravity point at the top of my list and now I'm going to sort my list of all these products, I can start tapping on anything I want and they jump right there. So even if it's alphabetical and you want it to display the way the store is, or you want it to display a particular order, the idea of this is it really empowers the sales force to be at the location, set it up how they're seeing so that in the future they can go through as quick as possible, rather than having to call back to the office and say, can you change this shelf sequence and try and set up these things and coordinate it. They can do this, and now we've incorporated it so they can edit this presentation on the fly from within their walk around. Now that we've set up some things at one of our locations, we'll go ahead and go back and I'll create a new order. Okay, so I'm creating a new order. I go into walk around. Here at the walk around I can see all the locations I've constructed. We created end cap number 2 here. So now with the walk around I have the option to go ahead and count what I'm seeing on the shelf. So here I happen to see 1, then I can flick. This product's a good example because it's got a couple things going on here. You can see that I set a par of 6. The previous one I didn't have a par, so it doesn't say anything. But this one will show me it's a par of 6, and I can set what I'm counting. Some of you who have been using the software may be used to when I put in 3 and it says power of 6, it's pre-populating this 3. On the version I'm running right now, it does not pre-populate this. Some users really liked it and it made it fast. Some users, just because they counted 3 and the power was 6, maybe the customer wasn't really ordering 3. Maybe they wanted to order 5 because it was moving quickly. They felt they were constantly going over the order column and changing it. So right now it's not pre-populating. That doesn't mean we're not going to go back to that. We're just still working on the idea of some of the sales forces out there want to use this as just kind of a level, as a way of inventorying what they're seeing in the store. And some of the sales force wants to use this to quickly be generating a build to level. And that'll still be coming. It's something that we're still working through how best to apply it so that we can cover all of our customers' needs here before we bring this out of beta. Underneath it, I can see what I've ordered in the past. I've ordered 3, ordered 7. If you look really specifically at this product, in the there column, you can see a half back there on Tuesday the 23rd. And it says there. Here and there is the idea of the walkarounds interacting together. So I can count what's on an end cap, and then I can go ahead to a different end cap, try and search for my same product. And I'll just enter some counts in here. Oh, unfortunately, none of these had the exact same. Let's try and do this another way. So let me drop grade. Sorry. Just want to demonstrate. So I counted this at the other location. So now if you guys see specifically on this, I have the half listed for the past and shows me what I counted in the past. Shows that I ordered 7. It also says a little number 3 in front of there. This means that at another walk around today I've counted it. So you can even see what is elsewhere in the store. I can also click the X and clear this out. And I can go ahead and just keep entering my counts if I want to just be doing the inventory. There's also these fractions, so that if you're counting, because your walk around set up for a case, but maybe they're actually selling it, such as at a gas station or something, they're selling as individual cans, you can look at it and say, all right, they've got 6 of the 24 here, so I'm only going to put in a quarter. You can also say that they have 2.5 cases. They can work in conjunction. There's also, some people count through the negatives. You can also say that if there's a power of 4, there are 3, and click miss. And I'm going to go back just to demonstrate this. Is it had a power of 4, and I entered 3, and then I'm saying that there are 3 missing, and it'll do the math for you and adjust it down to 1. All of this is counts. They're separate from creating the orders. I'm sorry? No. And by entering in here, you can also generate your order. It's important to note that while this is creating an order, if there's a backstock, the backstocks and the locations interact together by simply counting out at the cold shelf. If that same product is listed in the backstock location, it won't automatically be generating orders for you. It'll imagine that the cold shelf out front is restocked from the backstock location. This only comes up if you have a backstock location assigned to this customer. If you have a walk-in cooler and a warm shelf, that's fine. The counts will interact with each other, but they aren't expecting them to restock from each other. And there's a small exception to that, such as if the product isn't listed in backstock, it's only listed at one of the other locations, such as a warm shelf, then it won't be expecting it to be populated from the backstock, and it will help you create the order right there. The idea of that being, you may sell craft beers that only have so much on the shelf and they're not going to keep them in back, they're just keeping the bottles or 6-packs out front. So that being the only location you've listed it, you really do want to be ordering just to fill up that shelf to keep your sales going. That's the basic idea of Walkarounds. It's creating an invoice, and it's here. I can go back and review it. Lists behave similarly, but lists don't have the ability for counts. You can set up lists as a manager list. If there's a store you go into and they say this is what we're ready to purchase, and they kind of give it to you in their own little Excel sheet format, you can make it match, and that way it's easy to fill out. You can also set up the lists for possibly to match the wine menu, and you can use it as a retail price list to track for on-premise accounts if you aren't using the TAP survey. And now I can back up and see that we've created 2 orders. If I go back to how we started, past my Walmart, I can go back to cuts and recap like we looked at earlier. I can see what my pending orders and what's been cut, and also see now down below it says data to be uploaded. It lists the customers I've sold to, how many cases, and what the net cost is going to be. So what I've got left is I kind of wanted to do a little troubleshooting demonstration for you guys. If I go all the way back to the main screen where I sank and picked my user and looked at goals, there's the archive option. This is something that's new for eoTouch. If you go and click on archives, most of the time, the first time you're here, this will be blank. All you have to do is click on the plus in the upper right hand corner where it says archives. It may look for a split second like it's not doing anything, but just give it a moment to process. It will create a new archive of, there we go, you should be able to see it now. It says created on 7/25 at 10:58 a.m. It's got one upload in it. If I go into here, I can look. It's got an audit log of the device, sync log, download. It has all this. This can be packaged up and emailed out directly to us. Like I covered earlier, this device I'm on doesn't have the email set up. So because there's no email set up, it's not automatically showing me the option to send it. I can switch to my iPhone here and show you what the archive would look like on my other device. Or I'm sorry, you're seeing my iPhone now. Click on archives. And when I click on the plus, I create a new one from today. And when I go in there, give the screen one moment to catch back up to me. You see at the top of audit log and device log that there's the option to mail it to support. Click on mail, it'll open up an email for you and already fill into support so you can send it to us. It's great, it packages it up, but to note, this doesn't necessarily tell us what happened and why you're sending it in. We'll receive an archive to do something, but if you can click in here and type in the body of an email, you know, that your phone crashed, whatever it is that you experienced or thought you experienced, give a little description, because we don't always have every user's contact to reach directly out to them, and we have to call the office and say, I received an archive. I'm not sure if you got the orders rekeyed, if you just sent this for us to take a look at, if it just displayed funny. So a description here would help us quite a bit. And then all you have to do is click send. For anyone left who hasn't seen it, here's the little share button in the upper right hand. If I click on it, that gives me the option to email the invoice. And then you can send it and it goes across as a PDF like we talked about. When I click email invoice, it won't populate who it's going to, so you have the option to choose where you're sending it.